In this video, we'll be going over IRS Notice CP148B. This is a notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue Service if you've recently updated your mailing address for your business. So what happens when the IRS receives a copy of IRS Form 8822B? That's the official change of address form for a business owner. They send a confirmation known as CP148A to your new location, your new business address, and then they send a copy of CP148B to your prior address, just confirming the change. That way, if for some reason there's a typo, for some reason there was a mistake, if you never actually moved, then the IRS is still contacting you at your last known address. So we'll take a look at this. Notice is pretty straightforward. We'll talk about some of the things that you might want to be on the lookout for. But first, I want to point out a couple things at the top of the notice. So over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the notice number CP148B. Again, you should be seeing CP148A at your new business location. This is a notice that you would receive at your old location once your records are updated. So the notice date, February 2nd, 2017. In this situation, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of action required, but if you did receive a notice from the IRS with action required, please know that your due date, your time frame, stems from the notice date. So for example, if you receive a notice from the IRS asking you to pay an outstanding tax balance, they might ask you to pay that within 21 days of the notice, or else they'll have to recalculate penalties and interest on your outstanding tax bill. Or, please respond to this notice within 30 days or 60 days of the notice date. Again, whenever they use that terminology, they're talking about the notice date on the top of the correspondence, not the date that you received the notice. You should look at your employer ID number, verify it for accuracy, and then there's a contact phone number if you do need to contact the IRS. Over here on the left-hand side is your address. This should be your old address since that's going to be where your notice is mailed to. And you're going to want to make sure that you see the CP148A in your new address and that it's correct. So keeping your address up to date is the best way that you can keep up to date on any correspondence, any notices from the IRS. So let's take a closer look at this. So basically on the left-hand side, it's saying that the IRS will update their records anytime the address entered on a tax return is different from their records, or if they receive a copy of IRS Form 8822B. So this verbiage right here, let's imagine that you filed a tax return that says 22 Boulder ST period instead of street. This might cause the IRS to issue these notices and make you wonder what's going on. Well, maybe you didn't change addresses, but you did change how the address looks in the record. These notices usually are auto-generated, so it's just going to spit these out, and the IRS is going to mail them as if you actually physically relocated. So if you weren't expecting this, if you didn't move, that might be the explanation on why you're receiving this notice. So if the IRS if the mailing address is correct, you don't need to do anything. If there shouldn't have been a change to your address, then you need to call. You can call this number. You can write to the IRS at this location. You should include a copy of this correspondence for reference. So, and it is important to keep your address up to date. Here's some verbiage cautioning employers regarding third-party payroll providers. You should not, bottom line up front, you should not update the contact information for your payroll provider if it's a third party because the IRS will want to talk to you directly about payroll issues, and this change of address to refer IRS correspondence to a third party basically limits their ability to reach out to you. And that's important because ultimately they will hold you responsible for any mistakes in terms of depositing or paying your federal employment tax liabilities, even if the third party payroll provider is at fault. So there's a little bit of additional, I guess, resources. We're going to click this link here just to see if there's anything else noteworthy on the IRS page. It looks like it's kind of saying the same thing that we just talked about. CP148 goes to your old address and your new address. You might very well find copies of both of these at the same address if the IRS is, quote, fixing a typo, like the example that we got here with the 22 Boulder Street versus 22 Boulder ST period. So this is pretty straightforward. There shouldn't be, anything overly surprising. But if you do need a further understanding, we'll put links in the show notes to a couple of resources, namely the resources we've created for IRS Form 8822B, as well as its companion form for individual taxpayers, IRS Form 8822. If you did recently move your business, you may very well need to change your address for your individual records. Also, we'll put a link in the show notes to the CP148A video that we produced the other day, just for reference. So if you have any questions, hey, please post them in the comments section. If you do like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And in addition to questions, if you have any topics that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.